Deep within a fractured, desolate cavern, a lone, battle-worn blade pulses with an eerie, radiant light. This is the beginning. This is written in ash. The silence shatters as hands clasp together. Come on! A blonde warrior is hauled up over the ledge, grunting, Hey, I thought Bayou had that one. Above him, a dark-haired swordsman smirks, mocking the struggle. You're almost there, man. Don't crap out on me now. But Beau isn't letting him off the hook. Rubbing her neck in annoyance, she demands, What was that now? Before locking the blonde defender in a brutal headlock. You could have still shielded me, he complains as he struggles to break free. She leans in, zeroing in on his mistake. Your whole thing is defense, but you get caught off guard? That's a you problem. The playful banter dies in a heartbeat. The dark-haired swordsman casts a lethal glare into the shadows. He senses something massive. Down below, an eye widens in pure terror as a nightmare emerges from the abyss. A towering, multi-armed monstrosity rises, dragging a brutal spiked club. The team instantly drops into a combat stance, the chilling howl of the wind rushing past them as the predator prepares to strike. Focus, resolve, lethality. Slicing through the frame, the three warriors steel themselves for the clash. Bayou adjusts her glove with deadly precision, the blonde defender grips his weapon with gritted teeth, and the swordsman locks onto the target, his eyes burning with intent. They are ready to unleash hell. Engage! They strike as a single unstoppable force. Leading the charge, the female warrior channels raw power into her gloved hands, unleashing a blinding blast of magical energy. In the center, the shield-bearer barrels forward like a battering ram, holding the line. On the far left, the dark-haired swordsman unsheathes his blade in a flash of pure light. Boom! They collide with the monstrosity in a spectacular explosion of kinetic power, shattering the creature and the very ground beneath their feet. The battle is won, and the true objective is finally revealed. The blade of legend, Kurouso. Standing victorious at the edge of the horizon, the narrative officially unveils the rest of our legendary trio. Kurogari, Beau, and Ken. After months of grueling travel, they are finally here. Ken looks back, his expression serious as he owns up to his past slip-ups. Like you said, we're nearing the end of our journey. Don't worry, no more mistakes from here on out. Kurogari breaks the tension with a confident smirk, reassuring him. Yeah, 'cause you got Beau and I here. A sudden smack to the back of Kurogari's head keeps his ego in check. They share a triumphant cheer before settling around a crackling campfire for one last breath of peace. Let's just agree that we're all great, Beau jokes, calling for a quick rest before they breach the final barrier. Ken warns they don't have long before more enemies arrive, but the mission weighs heavily on them. Kurogari stares into the night, his voice filled with iron resolve. I refuse to let my brother ever be a part of this war. Ken prays the legend of Kurouso is true, while Beau stares into the flames. It's been too long. We'll finally be able to end this war. The firelight fades, leaving Kurogari cast in deep, haunting shadows. He is consumed by his grief, his expression twisting into lines of pure desperation. He thinks of his brother, a boy who has already lost their mother and father to the slaughter. Kurouso isn't just a sword, it's a lifeline. I will use its power to finally end this, he vows. The ghosts of a bleeding world rush back, images of carnage, screams, and lives torn apart in the blink of an eye. Kurogari's fist clenches, trembling with the weight of 1,000 regrets. It's not just to save his family, it's for a world that has bled far too much. It has to work. The brutal source of his trauma is revealed. A young boy, drenched in the blood of the fallen, screams into the void in a moment of pure, shattering agony. That unspeakable pain has forged a single, unbreakable promise that will carry them through whatever awaits them next. Never again. The adrenaline fades, making way for the heavy weight of their mission. Starting on the right, Kurogari's voice cuts through the silence, reassuring the blonde defender. It wasn't your fault, and you know that. Moving left, we see Ken sitting heavily by the fire, eyes downcast, the guilt still fresh. In the middle panel, Beau stares into the crackling flames, questioning everything. If only we knew the truth behind why the war started, maybe we could have made progress towards peace rather than relying on a legend. Down at the bottom, Kurogari isn't having it. Staring at the fire, his resolve is absolute. None of that will matter once I get Kurouso, the blade that ends all wars. Beau simply replies, maybe. The lore drops right here, reading the ancient verses from right to left. Blood becomes one until all is done. The land forever bends to its will. Wield the blade, war grows still. In the center, Kurogari grips the hilt of his katana, sliding it out just an inch with a deadly glare. Not this again, Bu. The legend continues through the floating text. The quest to stop tears brings on the quiet years. Every kid was told the legend. They knew eventually someone would wield the blade. They know its worth. The elders made sure that history was never lost. In the bottom left, Bu looks at him with pure, earnest concern, dropping a massive reveal. I just know that look on you, baby, and I don't want your judgment to be clouded. Starting top right, Bu gazes at a spark of magical energy dancing in her hand, dreaming of a life after the blood. Quiet years? How nice would that be? No more screaming, no more cries. Maybe we can have a proper honeymoon. Moving left, Ken recites the verses, picking his ear casually. Blood becomes one until all is done. All the races finally living together in peace seems too good to be true. Dropping down, Ken leans back with a huge grin, firing shots at his brooding teammate. If quiet years means Kurogari talks less, sign me up. The bottom panel brings us back to reality. Just 3 warriors catching their breath around a dying fire. Top right, Bu smiles warmly at the banter. That's my husband, but sometimes y'all sound more like an old married couple than we do. Moving left, Kurogari points his sheathed katana straight at Ken, throwing the challenge right back. One day I'm gonna pierce that defense you're so proud of. In the middle, Kurogari grounds the team, standing tall. No matter what happens, we'll handle it together. All we can do is trust the words of those who came before us. The bottom sequence is pure tension. On the right, a chilling realization hits. Something's off! In the center, Bu stretches, ready to move. Okay, y'all win. Let's do this. While on the far left, Ken smiles, completely oblivious to the danger. We'll be okay, cuss. I'll defend you guys no matter what. The descent begins. The panels pull us deeper into the abyss, further down into the darkness. A solitary glowing rune marks the point of no return, the final barrier, and lurking just beneath the shadows, glowing eyes pierce the dark. And its guardian. A massive muscular snout exhales a thick cloud of vapor. The boss has arrived. Behold the Guardian! A colossal, nightmarish minotaur steps out of the smoke, rippling with muscle, armed with sharp horns, a single tattered bat wing, and deadly claws. It glares down at our heroes. This is no ordinary beast. This is a wall of pure demonic muscle standing between them and the blade of legend. Chaos erupts. Top panel sweeping right to left. Bayu casts her magic from a distance while Kurogari leaps into the fray. The Minotaur swings a massive arm, generating a shockwave so powerful it sends smaller goblin-like minions flying in every direction with a deafening crash. Down at the bottom, the beast roars with earth-shattering fury as Ken braces his colossal shield in the foreground, ready to take the brunt of the assault. Pure impact. In the top panel, Ken screams at the top of his lungs, his face contorted in maximum exertion as he holds the line. Down below, a wide shot captures the sheer scale of the battle. The massive Minotaur brings its weapon crashing down directly onto Ken's shield. A violent shockwave and explosion blast out from the point of impact, kicking up debris as Kurogari and Bu flank from the sides. The absolute ultimate defense. Bu takes the stage. In the top panel, she clasps her hands together, immense magical energy arcing and crackling violently around her gloves. Her eyes are locked in. Nice job, boys, now get down. Moving through the bottom panels, right to left. She aims, unleashing a blinding, concentrated sphere of pure magical destruction that rips through the air, heading straight for the target. The aftermath. Top right, Kurogari looks over his shoulder, katana ready. They're getting stronger the deeper we go in. We need to get past that barrier before we can't keep up anymore. Moving left, Bu holds her hands up, smoke hissing from her gloves as she catches her breath. Yeah, couldn't agree more. At this rate, even with my goot, I'll run out of mana. But wait, drop to the bottom panels. On the right, Ken's face is frozen in pure shock, a bead of sweat dropping. In the middle, the Minotaur's upper half completely slides off its body, twitching as it falls. On the left, Ken stands behind his shield, finishing a sentence that was rudely interrupted by an instant kill. My goot may not be as good as Bu's, but the victory is cut short. Kurogari senses that something is horribly wrong, sprinting frantically back toward the front line. With a desperate sweeping strike of his katana, he shatters a stone pillar out of his way, screaming Ken's name in pure panic. A devastating heavy strike crashes violently against Ken's shield, sending shockwaves through the air. Caught completely off guard by the sudden counterattack, the defender struggles to hold the line. Kurogari and Bu watch in absolute horror, screaming for their teammate. The smoke clears to reveal the impossible. The Minotaur still stands, towering and completely undamaged. Ken stares up in dread, realizing the grim truth. The beast hasn't just survived, it's gotten stronger. The nightmare continues. The Minotaur opens its monstrous jaws, charging a terrifying dense sphere of dark energy. With a vicious growl, the beast unleashes a blinding, concentrated beam of pure destruction straight toward Kurogari and Bu. The massive energy blast violently rips through the cavern, fracturing the very space around it. The sheer kinetic force tears the battlefield apart, completely overwhelming the frame with destructive power. Impact! The dark energy connects with the terrain, erupting into a colossal, earth-shattering explosion. Massive boulders and debris are launched into the air as the devastating blast levels the entire area. A blur of motion. Kurogari dashes out of the blast zone at blinding speed, carrying Bu safely in his arms. Bu looks up at him, her voice tight with concern. "Baby, you can't maintain this speed with your mana." But Kurogari's resolve is absolute. He knows the stakes. "If I reserve my mana now, we die. My Guta may not be as refined as yours, but I can still manage." They touch down on a high, jagged cliff, seeking a desperate moment to strategize. Kurogari pieces the terrifying puzzle together. "I wasn't sensing a Hawk-level mana from this demon. It shouldn't be capable of regeneration." Bayou connects the dots, realizing the full threat. Not just the regeneration, but it's gotten stronger as well. There's no reason Ken should have lost that exchange. Down below, the fully healed Minotaur exhales a thick cloud of steam, locking its glowing eyes right back onto its prey. There is no time to breathe. Before Bu can even finish her sentence, a massive razor-sharp claw eclipses the frame, violently swiping down toward their blind spot. Instant reflexes! Kurogari draws his katana in a blinding flash, intercepting the massive ambush. His blade slices cleanly into the demon's hand, sending the Minotaur reeling back with a furious, agonizing roar. And the defender rises. Ken returns to the fray, his face battered but contorted in pure, unadulterated rage. Unleashing a blood-curdling battle cry, he charges across the cavern and slams his massive shield directly into the Minotaur's flank with bone-crushing force. Payback! Ken gets his revenge. In the top panel, a massive explosion rips through the cavern. Crash! Boom! As Ken's brutal shield bash connects with the beast. Kurogari and Bu watch from the sidelines, but the physical toll is catching up. Moving right to left on the bottom, Kurogari admits the cost of his rescue. "I didn't have a choice. If I didn't amplify to that level, I wouldn't be able to keep up." Bu scolds him instantly. "I told you that speed is too much." Kurogari finishes his thought, his body failing. "I even barely managed that. It only worked because the Minotaur didn't expect my speed to keep up." Before violently coughing up a mouthful of blood with a harsh "guh" in the far left panel. The dust begins to settle on the right side, but the tension is still thick. Bayou shoots a sharp, annoyed glare, completely unamused by the timing of their shield-bearer's triumphant return. "Really? Is now." Ken quickly waves her off in the bottom right panel, knowing he deserves the lecture. I know. But the defender hasn't lost his nerve. Moving to the massive left panel, Ken stands tall amidst the falling debris, battered, bruised, but smirking as he throws a cheeky demand at their bleeding swordsman. "Heh, well, if you could just overload yourself so we can win, that'd be great." The stakes hit their absolute peak. On the right side, Kurogari wipes the blood from his mouth, his eyes locked in dead seriousness. Bu watches him closely from the bottom corner as he makes the ultimate call. "I'll have to use it. And he's going to need it." Shifting to the left panel, Ken stares down the battlefield as an ominous glowing silhouette pierces through the thick smoke. The Minotaur is still standing, its aura radiating such intense, heavy energy that the very air vibrates around it. The guardian of the final barrier isn't dead yet, and the real fight is just beginning.